This clip is about construction drawing, the layout of certain drawings, why we have to do them in a certain way, and the details within the drawing for construction. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi Dad, what are you doing today?
Oh, right, Jake. I'm just finishing off a design of a drawing here for an extension for a construction project. And on Shed Hacks, we've had a few questions about some of the work we've been doing. And this elevation you may have a few questions on. It's quite complicated, but I think I can explain most of the details. So what questions did you want to ask about this particular design of this house we're designing an extension for?
So what are building plans in the evaluation?
Well, it's a good question. Building plans show the elevations, that's the sides, and the the top view, bird's eye view of the actual project. So an elevation in all cases will have four sides. Okay, so you'll have a side elevation, a rear elevation, another side, and so forth. A top view is the top, obviously the plan view from the top, like a bird. And that is shown a little bit here with the plan view, and that shows looking inside the construction of the building. And in this case it shows what is existing and what's planned as part of the extension. I think these drawings are very useful for those that are studying construction, but for those that just have an interest in construction. Do you have any other questions? Because I know there's quite a lot I can discuss.
Yeah, what are block planes?
Block planes or block plans?
Block plans.
The block plan in this drawing here, you might be familiar with this drawing because it's somewhere, that's something similar to what you live in, isn't it, Jake?
Yeah.
So this plan here shows it going to side, the front, side, front, another side, and a front there, and it shows also a section. But going back to your original question, the block plan is actually a scale drawing, 1 to 500 scale, and it shows the bird's eye view of the building in relation to other buildings around it. Okay, even shows the road and sometimes even some more detail around the surrounding area, including even possibly trees and things like that. 1 to 500 scale is a much smaller, obviously, drawing than some of the larger drawings because you don't need the detail on the block plan, but it's a useful drawing just to understand the location in relation to other buildings and possibly even drain runs and, like I say, important features in the area such as trees and things that might affect the build. Okay, did you have any other questions, Jake?
Yes, I can't see millimetres or metres or centimetres.
Good question. Well, this floor plan here shows obviously the layout of the floor, the ground floor level, and it shows these numbers, and in between the actual arrows here, the markings, it shows another number. Now, the number is in millimetres in this case. So this whole distance from here is just under 3 metres. So quite a reasonable sized bedroom, and it's 4.2 metres long, so quite a good sized bedroom, that one. And parts of the house here, it doesn't show the dimensions because the extension is the piece that we are designing for here. But we were better put a scale ruler on this, and we had to find out how big this whole property is. Okay, so it's a good question. There's another piece of the design work here. So these lengths again are all in millimetres. 4.725 is 4.725 metres. Okay, does that help on the sizes? Yeah. There is one thing I noticed here. It even gives you a distance in metres on the drawing, so you could take a ruler to that, and you know that for every 25 millimetres, it's 1 metre. Yeah. 20.
Yeah.
So you could actually calculate that, knowing that distance there. You could calculate how long that is, or you could use a proper scale ruler, which you can buy. Yes, Jake, any other questions?
Yeah, why are there loads of little like lines and dots?
Very good question again, and I think the viewers might find this interesting. In all drawings, there is what they call cross-hatching, and the cross-hatching indicates a type of material. So this shows brickwork with double crosshatch here, and blockwork here with a finer crosshatch. Often, actually, it's double crossed with another cross that way for blockwork. Okay, and there are other cross-hatching or shading, if you like, for concrete and for a cement screed. And there's more for concrete here for the deep strip foundation there shown, and obviously supporting the wall. So this will be a load-bearing wall, and they're the foundations. And it shows, and in which may be another question later on, what a sectional view is. What do you know of a sectional view, Jake?
Maybe one side or something.
It is a side looking through. It's almost as if you cut it through with a knife, sawing it through, and you're looking right through the building. And it even shows, look, the floor joists.
Oh
Look
yeah.
there. And this fluffy stuff, what do you think that is?
Insulation.
Insulation. And often it tells you in the detailed notes what comprises of the piece being shown, what is comprised. So it says here about having a chipboard floor, and it will talk about the joists at some point, and the quilted insulation. And it talks about the fascia here and so forth, and the damp proof course, which has been incorporated here within the wall. What else? There's all sorts of things, but the joist size will be specified probably in later notes. In fact, here we go. Talks about the detail of the cavity wall here. Okay,
Yeah.
and it will have something to do with the joists at some point. Yes, C24 is the grading of the joist. It's a structural joist, and it's 47 millimeters by 195 millimeters deep. Okay, that's a section of the floor joist. So that dimension there, the specification they call that, relates to these joists, and it talks about it being 400 millimeters apart somewhere. Yes, 400 millimeters from centre to centre, C straight C. Okay, the other question.
Wouldn't it be easier just to draw it in 3D?
Well, that's a good question. A 3D drawing is useful, but of course, what can't you do with a 3D drawing when you're talking about sizes? What can't you do?
Maybe have an accurate measurement.
Yeah, you can't put a size to a 3D drawing with a ruler because it won't give you an accurate size or dimension. So it has to be done in 2D, 2 dimensions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else?
Why are there curved bits where the doors are?
Oh, this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
The curve shows the radius of the door opening. Good question. And it shows, of course, what can't be placed in the way of the door as it opens. And it shows the way or the positioning of the hinge, which side of the door you want the hinge to be. Quite a good one, actually, because, of course, the door could open in this way, couldn't it? That way.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Any other questions?
So what are all the little words like
Oh.
SVP?
Point to them. SV. Oh, okay. This is sewage vent pipe, or foul water vent pipe. That's the venting to allow the air to enter the sewer, so you don't get what they call sort of blowback or suction when something's been flushed down the toilet or a shower's been running. So that's a vent pipe. Yes.
What about a WC?
Point to it, Jake. Where's WC?
Yeah.
Oh yes, water closet. So it's WC is water closet. Okay, shows that. Yes. Anything else?
Oh.
Point to anything else, Jake.
What are those lines there?
Yes, this shows the pipework under the foundation of the floor slab, all the way under, and it shows it running to what do you think that is there?
Maybe some sort of main supply of something?
It is a drain, and it shows the drainage for the foul water, sewage water.
Oh.
And that is an access point, or even what they call a manhole. And it says manhole there. 600mm diameter. And that's the symbol, if you can see that, guys, for diameter. It's a circle with a line through it. But the detail is in the writing, and it's very interesting actually reading through it, how things are very, very detailed. So there's the access route for another pipe, looks like to the under the conservatory, possibly to the kitchen. Okay.
Wow.
Right, so that's drainage, and then that may be drainage for guttering along here, of course, and possibly that may run right under the house to the other side of the house. Okay.
So how do they start such a big plan like this?
In terms of planning the whole project.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a good question. I've got this here. Often these sort of construction jobs will have to be very carefully planned out, and here's an example plan. I don't know whether you can see that on the camera, but you can see along the top there is a date in weeks, and down here are all the activities: excavate for foundations, brickwork, block work, the joists, the roof, the tiling, all those various tasks or activities are listed that side, and then the planned times are listed here, and it allows a little bit of variation, the dotted lines, for poor weather. Okay, so it does. So this is in April and it can rain, of course. But yeah, there you go. That's a good question, though.
Wow. So there's a lot of maths involved.
There's mathematics. There's all sorts involved. The mathematics is very technical because, of course, when you have a drawing like this, and let's look at this foundation here. Or this sectional view. You've got to work out the amount of excavation, digging out of the mud or earth. And you've got to calculate also all the materials in making the structure and have the materials ready on site as and when the building parts the parts of the project have been constructed. So you would have to study all the elevations, scale them up and work out the quantities of all the materials. And that's what a quantity surveyor does. Works out the quantities and the prices. And he'll also look at the construction notes, the specification they call it, to find out any fine detail, such as the type of timber used, type of insulation, the type of bricks, even the type of lintels used above the openings in the wall for the windows. It's all very important to get it right. And you can see there's some actual specifics even written in here, specifying the exact detail for this particular job, and they will vary. So let's look at this drawing. They will vary from project to project, and you can see the construction notes are really quite detailed, and they have to be. Yes, it even gives you indication on the type of U values that the window must achieve, the amount of heat loss from a window, the maximum amount that it must allow or not allow through, if you like. Okay. And this one, it specifies the type of information for the pitched roof. Okay, there's the pitch, the gable end, and quite a lot of detail. Even the British Standard number in relation to the glazing. Okay, this drawing I found quite interesting because it does actually show lots of hidden detail on this one as well. Can you see that? Insulation in the walls. It's a timber wall, that one, you can see.
Wow.
Rendered on the outside. Okay, shows the drain runs, rainwater pipe. Shows the sizes again. Quite a big extension, that one. Okay.
So could you just build a house without plans?
No, planning permission must be sought, so the drawings are produced, and then you have to apply to the local authority, planning department, to get your plans approved, and they must be done carefully. They must be done in a certain manner or way, so they are standardised and the drawing is understood properly. Yeah, good question.
So what if you just didn't use the plan? Would you still be able to go along?
No, go along to, you mean construct it?
Yeah, so would you be able to build the house and know what you're doing? No,
you have to have plans and they have to be passed through planning regulations. Yes? Yes, okay. Good question. Yeah? And the drawings are submitted with all the various detail. who it's for, the dates, and even what it's for. You know, the proposed extension this way, in this sense. Well, there's some detail about the floor there, the insulation and the floor joist. Oh no, that's a wall actually. Sorry, detail 1. Detail 1. Can you see where it says detail? I drew this, and it's interesting. Detail wall is the wall detail, and I can't find it. Sometime I drew that. Okay, so that's that. So going back to this one. Any other questions about this part here? See, the foundations are at different levels. Look, so the ground you can see is at different levels. It's very important the foundations are set at a certain depth, usually a metre plus, to allow the loading of all the structure to be taken into the ground. And that's what the foundation's for, isn't it? To take all the load from the structure, all the dead loads and the live loads, and any imposed loads, the things that you may put inside, or the wind and rain on it and snow that may build up. All those loads, weights, must go down to the ground. Okay, I think that covers that. There's sectional views, elevations, construction notes, and the layouts. Okay, and we talked about the scale, didn't we, there? Brilliant. Okay, thanks guys, I hope you found that really useful.